Three things we're going to talk about today. Number one, the SBA has run out of money. How does that affect you if you are asking for natural disaster loan assistance? Number two, the US Treasury debacle. Last year, the SBA sent 860,000 loans to collections at US Treasury. And number three, and wait for it, hardship accommodation. If you're a small business owner and you're a constituent of the Small Business Administration, whether you got a COVID-19 economic injury disaster loan during the pandemic, whether you have applied for a natural disaster loan or you're in a disaster area right now or in the future and you want to apply for a natural disaster loan. So here we go. But before we begin, I've already interrupted myself. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to our channel. Do you know that 74% of the folks who watch our videos, many of whom use the information we give them in these videos to be successful with the SBA? We've had people tell us they got their loans approved at the SBA during the pandemic because of our videos. 74% of folks who watch our videos are not subscribed. And we get it. Maybe you got better things to do. You'd rather get videos about kittens or cooking or decorating your living room. But when you subscribe, you're helping other business owners in the small business community. 30 million small businesses that are the constituents of the US Small Business Administration. By you subscribing to our channel, you're helping them because you'll help the YouTube algorithm, Uncle Al, to understand that our videos are important to folks like you. So please take a moment, subscribe right now, like the video, click on the bell so you get notifications when we publish new videos. If you want to give us an extra special thanks, click on the thanks button and you could pony up a couple of dollars and send some cash our way too, because who doesn't like money when you're in small business, and we're in small business just like you. If you're in a disaster area, and if you are, I want you to know Linda Ray and I are really thinking about, we're hoping that our videos will help you to get the vital assistance that you're entitled to receive from the U.S. Small Business Administration to help your business come out of the other side of a natural disaster, whether you're getting money from the government to repair physical damage to your business or make up for lost revenue caused by the disaster, or both. That's what these videos are designed to do, to help you be successful with the program. So a couple of things. This week, the SBA announced they had run out of money. It's not like they didn't warn us. They went to the Congress, they went to the White House, and they said, President Biden, please help us out. Congress, please help us out. Speaker Mike Johnson, you Republican politician who's playing politics with the livelihoods of small businesses all over the country, please call Congress back into session. President Biden came to Speaker Johnson and said, please bring the Congress back into session. But no, that man had to play politics. And so the SBA at the time said, we only have $100 million left. Please bring Congress back, get the vote in for the funding needed. And these folks said, no, we'll do it after Election Day. If you have already applied for a natural disaster loan, the SBA says they will continue processing those loan files. And we're seeing that because we are working on some natural disaster files for clients who hired us while we were still taking consulting clients. But we have created the SBA EIDL Resource Hub. If you click on the link in the description, you can see how you can purchase access to the Resource Hub today before I publish a whole bunch of free updates that are coming. It's for people who have purchased the Resource Hub previously. And when we publish those updates, the price of the Resource Hub is going to increase substantially. So if you click on the link in the description, you can see how you can be successful with the natural disaster loan application process. Okay, SBA says they are processing active applications. Second issue is, what if you're in a natural disaster area and you have not applied for a natural disaster loan yet? The SBA encourages you to apply. Now, if you've watched any of our videos, you know Trevor's golden rule as a former mortgage banking loan officer is this: when you have a question about whether you would be eligible, whether you would be qualified, or in this case, if the agency is going to have money, the answer I'm always going to give you is the golden rule: always apply. So get your application in, keeping in mind that at the SBA, applications are managed in the order that they are received at the SBA. So get your application in. But before you get that application in, make sure you watch our video on step 1 on how to be successful with a natural disaster application. We're going to be publishing that very soon here on the channel, and you'll know about it if you are a subscriber, because remember, 74% of people who watch our videos are not subscribers. So make yourself unlike those people, become become a subscriber and then hit the notifications. So when we publish the natural disaster instructions video next week, you will have access to that. We encourage you to apply online so you have time to prepare for it. If you want to use our instructions to do that, either way, prepare for it and apply online. We try to discourage folks from applying for an SBA business disaster loan at the SBA Disaster Center in your community. We understand the stress that you feel and the lack of patience you feel. You want to get it done, but there's the right way to do it and the wrong way. And in our opinion, applying in the disaster center in person, you're not going to be prepared. Your application will be incomplete, inaccurate, and you will dramatically reduce your chances of being approved. So apply online. If, on the other hand, you have applied already, or if you apply at the disaster center, or you apply without being properly prepared, whatever the reason, if you are declined for a natural disaster loan, you have 6 months to request what's called a reconsideration, where you can come back and argue with the Small Business Administration and say, listen, I believe I'm entitled, I believe I'm eligible and qualified. Here are the reasons, here's supporting documents to understand why I should get this loan. And you'll have some time to put that together, and you've got up to 6 months from the date of the declination to apply. One other hint about applying for a natural disaster loan: insurance. The SBA Economic Injury Disaster Loan and the SBA Physical Disaster Loan for a small business or for a homeowner or for a renter is designed to make up for the deficiency in insurance payouts. That means you should have gone to your insurance carrier first before you apply to the SBA to find out if your insurance covers you for the physical damage, and if so, how much they're going to pay you for physical damage. Even if you don't have the full amount, if the insurance adjuster is not there yet, we get it. Disaster areas insurance adjusters often don't come out in a timely manner. If it's incomplete, at least know if you were covered basically for that kind of damage, because that's going to be one of the questions when the SBA works on your natural disaster loan. It's designed as a supplement to make up for the deficiency of what the insurance policy does not cover for physical damage. Likewise, for economic injury, where you've lost revenue, one of the questions that the SBA asks you is, do you have business interruption insurance? Linda Ray and I take it as a given. She's a 30-year veteran of the insurance industry. We basically take it as a given that most businesses do not have business interruption insurance, which blows our minds, but it is a thing. If you have business interruption insurance, again, you want to see how much coverage you have there before you apply for the economic injury disaster loan. If your natural disaster loan is still in process, even though the SBA has run out of money, they say they are going to continue processing those applications. Here's 3 things you need to know real quick. Number 1, make sure before you submit any information or documents especially that you have prepared. Our resource hub will give you the information you need to prepare in advance, including the SBA forms, so you can fill those out in advance before you fill them out on the SBA portal. Fill them out in advance so they're done correctly, because once you filled it out on the portal, you can't correct it. Number 2, beware of deadlines. When the SBA asks you to submit information for your natural disaster loan application, you've got a deadline, and it's usually very short, like 7 to 10, 14 days. It's quick, so be aware of the deadlines. And number 3, SBA will verify your tax returns with the IRS. They're going to do that using an IRS request for transcripts called IRS Form 8821. The SBA portal will generate that form automatically based on the information you've inputted in the natural disaster loan application. But here's what I've seen. It's often generated incorrectly, which means when the IRS gets that form, they will not be able to find your tax return, cannot generate a tax transcript, and will tell the SBA no record found. And SBA automatically assumes, oh, this person's lying and they didn't file a tax return, and they'll decline your loan. If that's the case, make sure you go to irs.gov, get your own form 8821, fill it out so it exactly matches side by side with your tax return, the most recently filed tax return. Match it side by side, fill it out, make sure you add the additional information that is on the SBA form, because they use an outside service and you have to have that information on the form as well as your information, and then put an ink signature on that, because they don't accept electronic signatures apparently. Put an ink signature on that and upload it to the My SBA portal. And again, our resource hub gives you all kinds of information that you can use to be successful. It's a flat fee to access it. And again, we are publishing major updates in the coming weeks. If you purchase it now, you will get those updates free through December 31st, 2024. And once we publish those updates, the price will increase substantially. What's in there? There's a guidebook that I wrote. There's templates that I created that have helped me to help small business owners like you be successful for thousands of interactions interactions with the SBA, including the most recent transaction where I helped a small business owner avoid repayment of the full $1 million COVID loan. Yeah, we're going to do another video on that at another time. I kind of sort of know what I'm doing. Those templates reflect that. Same thing with the forms that the SBA requires. They're in the Resource Hub, so you can fill them in advance, get used to them in advance, and prepare them in advance before you fill them out online or before you submit them. You will have access to a private playlist of instructional videos where I talk a lot slower than this, and I go through step-by-step, easy-to-understand instructions on every aspect of the COVID-19 EIDL and the natural disaster loan process. Next up, US Treasury. At the end of 2023 and in early 2024, the SBA shipped off for collections as defaulted loans for non-payment 860,000 loans off to the U.S. Treasury. These are COVID-19 economic injury disaster loans, or EIDLs as we call them, where people allegedly, according to the SBA, were not paying the loan back. What we discovered after speaking to hundreds of people is, in fact, the SBA's repayment procedure was a complete disaster area all by itself. And by the way, it still is. We're going to do another video about that next time. So these loans were shipped off, and then the Treasury tacks on an extra 30% on top as a penalty and sends these loans to private collection agencies, puts it on people's credit reports, and basically terrifies the living out of small business owners. But what happened is that by April and May of 2024, the SBA reversed course and brought those loans back from the U.S. Treasury if you applied for the Hardship Accommodation Program. Okay, I'm going to talk about Hardship Accommodation Program in a moment. Here's 5 key things you need to know about the U.S. Treasury process. Number one is that as of right now, October 2024, the SBA is not referring delinquent loans to the U.S. Treasury. It doesn't mean they can't do it. They have, I think it's up to 2 years from when a loan is considered in default, meaning that after 3 months, I think it is, 120 days of late payments, it's considered in default. They have up to 2 years to refer that. So it doesn't mean it won't happen again, but right now, it's not happening. Right now, the SBA is keeping those loans in place at the SBA and giving you an opportunity to bring the payments current or to get into the Hardship Accommodation Program. Number 2, the 30% penalty if you get your loan returned from U.S. Treasury collections back to the SBA for regular servicing through the Hardship Accommodation Program, that 30% penalty is removed. Take a deep breath, follow the procedures to get hardship accommodation approved, and your loan will be brought back from Treasury, and the 30% penalty will be removed from the loan amount. A big concern that we heard from small business owners after they got those letters from the U.S. Treasury, oh my God, I had people on the phone, men and women crying on the phone, terrified that the U.S. government was going to take their house, was going to take their retirement savings, was going to take the payroll account, that they wouldn't be able to pay their employees. Hold on, I said to them, that's not going to happen right now. Can it happen? Maybe. Yeah, well, you'd have to go through a whole morass of a whole process of collection procedures to get that far down the line. And that's really only if your loan had a personal guarantee aspect or if you were a sole proprietor with no formal business protection as a corporation or an LLC. Right now, as it stands, when these loans are coming back from Treasury, the chances of further collection activity are basically eliminated, which means you're not going to lose your house. You're not going to have your payroll account seized. You can take a deep breath, but that doesn't mean you don't have to be better than the SBA. Linda Ray says it all the time. You have to be better than the SBA, and our SBA Resource Hub will help you with that. In fact, the folks who have purchased our predecessor to the Resource Hub, which was our SBA COVID-19 EIDL guidebook, have used that guidebook to be successful in multiple ways, including learning how to manage their repayments with the SBA, including what to do if there was a problem with payments. All of that, I baked all of that into the guidebook 3.5 years ago. So it's there for you to use. Click on the link in the description. Number 4, if you're in default on an SBA loan and you can't pay it back for sure, there are other strategies you can pursue to protect yourself. But you can take a moment and know that it is unlikely you're going to be sued by the government, and very unlikely you're going to be brought to any kind of criminal proceedings. The SBA is spending a lot of time going after people who committed fraud with the COVID programs. And I will tell you, based upon the press releases that I get from the U.S. Department of Justice about this program, because I subscribe to that, there are very few real criminals that they've tracked down so far. So if you're not a criminal, you got nothing to worry about. If you're a criminal, you should stop watching this video and call the FBI and turn yourself in and go to jail. Just saying. Number 5, the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program at the SBA is not forgivable and is not eligible for an offer in compromise. So if you are in default, if you cannot pay this loan back and you want to negotiate a settlement with the SBA, this is not possible under the current SBA terms. You cannot negotiate the way you would with a tax liability with the IRS, where you could say to the IRS, listen, I owe you X amount of dollars. I have this amount. I don't have any more than that. Can we just settle it and call it a day? That process is offer in compromise. Offer in compromise. And there's a whole application and process with the IRS. The SBA has no such program for the COVID-19 economic injury disaster loans. Don't get it confused with other SBA loan programs. And we've seen where SBA representatives on the phone will tell business owners, yes, we provide offer in compromise, because they're confusing the EIDL program with a regular SBA loan, which comes through a bank, not through the SBA. For the EIDL program, the SBA is a direct lender. And our final topic is this Hardship Accommodation Program. This is a program where you can request that the SBA lower your payment by as much as 90% in the beginning for 6-month increments for a total of 2.5 years of reduced payments. What we have seen this year, especially with the whole US Treasury mess that I talked about earlier, where business owners have enrolled in the hardship program, now those 6-month hardship periods, the first 6-month period that they enrolled in, is coming to an end. And already SBA is confusing the living out of people on how to request an extension. I will tell you that I've seen on the My SBA portal, it may be possible to request extension on the My SBA portal. We're going to do an update video on that in the coming weeks, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, I want to encourage you, if you have not applied for the Hardship Accommodation Program, and if you're facing challenges on making these payments, you should take this opportunity to apply for it. You send an email to cesc@sba.gov, and you put Hardship Accommodation in the subject line with your SBA loan number, and then at the bottom of the email, you say, please send me the paperwork to enroll in the Hardship Program, and they'll email you the application. If you want to know how to fill out the application so that you get approved, click on the link in the description and access our EIDL resource hub, where we have a copy of the application and step-by-step instructions on how to complete it. In fact, I'm going to show my feather boa. This feather boa was sent to us by a small business in San Francisco that makes feather boas for Elton John and Lady Gaga, and they purchased our SBA guidebook, which was the basis of our new resource hub, and they used the instructions in that guidebook to get approved for the hardship program. The step-by-step instructions apparently are easy to understand, and I wrote them that way. Click on the link in the description, and when you're done, you get approved, you can send me a feather boa or a box of chocolates, or you can click on the thanks button and buy me a cup of coffee. Now, if you are approved for the hardship program, you had better be mindful of your payments. Let me remove the feather boa. Okay. If you've been approved, I got feathers, green feathers all over me. If you have been approved and enrolled in the Hardship Accommodation Program, you need to be very mindful of your payments. Don't just set it and forget it, because you have to be better than the SBA. Linda Ray says it all the time. You've got to be better than the SBA. By the way, our Economic Injury Disaster Loan Resource Hub helps you to be better than the SBA. It prepares you for every aspect of the COVID-19 EIDL program that you signed up for when you borrowed that money 4.5 years ago. The Resource Hub will prepare you for every aspect of responsibility, restrictions, and requirements. Click on the link in the description so you can get yours now at the current flat fee, because we're going to be publishing updates in the next few weeks, and when we do, the price of the Resource Hub will increase dramatically. But if you purchase it now at the current price, you will receive free updates through December 31st, 2024. Get it now. Prepare for your future with the SBA. You know why? Because 30 years is a long time, and this loan is going to be around on your books for quite a few years yet. I don't necessarily mean 30, but at least another 4, 5, 7, or 8, 10 years. It's already been around for 4.5. Time just flies. And we have seen time and again how people did not prepare for the kind of interactions they need to have with the SBA, changing ownership, changing address, all of these things, and now the Hardship Accommodation Program. let's back to the topic. If you are enrolled in the program, you need to check your SBA portal every time to make a payment. And we always recommend making one-time payments, ACH only, no debit cards, and no recurring payments. We've seen too many situations where the recurring payment system fails and the money doesn't come out of your account and then SBA considers you delinquent. And this is really important for two reasons. Number one, if you miss a payment in the hardship accommodation program and you request extension at the end of the 6-month period, the SBA will decline you. They're very clear. In the approval letter, it says you must make all your payments on time. The second reason you want to make sure your payments are made on time every month, and you have to manually monitor this through the My SBA portal. That's our advice to you. The second reason why you want to monitor it is because in the future, God forbid, if you need to apply for a natural disaster loan, if you've got a defaulted SBA loan in your past, in your history, you will not be approved for a natural disaster loan. Keep that in mind in all of your interactions with the SBA on your COVID EIDL program. That's why we created the Resource Hub, so you can stay on top of every aspect of the responsibilities of this loan program, and you will not have issues with the federal government for many, many years, as long as you have this loan. I want to thank you for tuning in with us today. Linda Ray and I truly appreciate you folks who have subscribed to our channel. We've crossed the 1 million views mark this week. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Linda Ray, play some applause, get some balloons coming in here on my head. No birds dropping poop on my head, I hope. And thank you, folks, for subscribing. We have over 10,000 subscribers. If you have not subscribed, we have discovered that over 74% of people who view our videos are not subscribed. So please take a moment right now. If you found this video useful, click on the subscribe button, click on the notifications bell so you are kept up to date every time we publish videos. And like the video. Every little bit helps us. And if you want to say thanks for the information in this video and you don't want to purchase the Resource Hub, we get it. We understand money sometimes can be tight and sometimes people can be frugal and sometimes people cannot realize how they're voting against their own best interest by not buying our Resource Hub. But you can always click on the thanks button and send us a few dollars through YouTube. You could do that because who doesn't like money? We do.